Good morning, welcome to the next podcast of Andy Collier-talks cricket memorabilia. Video number 131 I think it is, so it's going well. I'm thoroughly enjoying every minute of it, and I hope you're enjoying it too. So I've got some good news. James Merchant has been around to Pete Schofield's place, and they've managed to do 4 lovely videos for us, so hopefully we're going to put those on in the next few weeks, sort of split them up a little bit, so they'll be very entertaining. You can just see what Pete's got in his collection. Some fantastic stuff, I've got to say. Some I've not seen and probably many others haven't seen, so should be a good show there. So anyway, it's been quite an interesting week this week with a few bits turning up. First bit that turned up was this sheet, Australian Cricket Tour 1989, which on eBay, which is great. I thought that's quite nice, but anyway, it turned up. It only cost me £3. It turned up to be facsimile, so not overly disappointed, I suppose, because it's quite a nice sheet. I mean, there is a market for facsimile sheets, I suppose, but not particularly expensive things. But it gives you a good idea of what you can get in the signature market. So I've got a good record there. Obviously, there's some tips if you actually come across these facsimile sheets. Just ask the seller if there's anything sort of shining through the back of it. I mean, some players are going to press harder, some weaker, some with a bit more ink, so there's something going to shine through the other side. So that's just a little tip if you're going to start collecting signature sheets. So there's one. The other thing that turned up this week was this lovely MCG Melbourne, which is a world's great architecture mini size, so it's about 6 inches high, which is just a model of the SCG that you've got to put together. There's the instructions. It says 30 to 60 minutes to put together, so I think there's about 17 pieces on there, so with a bit of luck it won't take me that long. So perhaps I'll put that on another podcast when I've actually done it. Looking forward to that. Then another one that turned up is a lovely book here from John Broome in his series Cricket in the First World War. His last one was Cricket in the Second World War, so rather nice edition there, so I'm looking forward to reading that. If it's as good as the last one, it should be very entertaining to read. But again, he's got a few pictures from my collection in there, which is nice to be able to add to these people's books, so it's great. Thank you very much. Well done, John. So anyway, I had a message from a chap who has just subscribed to the Andy Collier-talks cricket memorabilia site, and he's just going to start on the great wide world of collecting cigarette cards and other cards. So he's going to have a great time trying to get those. So he just said, did I have any? So I have got a few, but not a massive amount of cards. But there are so many various cards out there that you can collect, many in Australia. And he said about rugby league. I thought rugby league, fair enough, might be quite rare. I know baseball cards in America are quite sought after and reach astronomical amounts of money for rare ones, signed as well, which are great. It's always nice to have a signed card. So here we go with a few bits that I've got in my collection that you can actually have a go on. There's a few here. There's a set there. These ones here are international cricketers, TCCB. This one's John Edrich and Bob Willis. So that's one collection you can do. Classic cricket postcards it's got on there, and they're produced by the stamp company or stamp publicity Worthing Limited. So that's one section you can do. Now, a few years ago, the Cricket Memorabilia Society produced these copy cards of the early cricketers, and they've got a facsimile signature on them as well. So if you do find a signature of them, you can probably reference these cards. This one's Alfred Shaw, which is quite a nice one. And this one, who have we got here? George Griffin and a Bonner, 2 Australians from 1882. It's got a sporting mirror here, in 1882 on the back, from the collection of K.H. Ballock. So who K.H. Ballock was, I'm not really sure. Quite possibly an Australian collector. So that's another nice. I've got 6 of those, so I'm not quite sure on who's in the set. Quite possibly those, but anyway, next one here is another one. England Cricket Badge, limited edition private collection of Tom Coleman. These ones of the English badge that's on the jumpers and blazers and things, which is quite a nice thing there. This one's Fred Truman, and this one is Ted Dexter. So there's quite a few of those, got half a dozen of those ones as well. But so another area to collect on the card front. And some more here. This is another one by the stamp publicity at Worthing, International Cricketers. This one's of yesteryear, the Golden Age. That's Victor Trumper there. Facsimile signatures, unfortunately. Another one here, Ranjit Singh, which is a nice card. So quite a nice selection of cards there. Not sure how many's in the set. This is 106, so there's obviously going to be quite a few. So another area. This one's obviously cigarette cards you can do. This one is a nice selection, 25 cards there of all the club colours, caps and badges of the counties and international teams at the time. Not got New Zealand on it, so this is a 20s one. Goes from the MCC cap up here, that's number 1. And then down the bottom there is the Isingari cap there, which is quite a nice cap. So it's a nice selection of cards. Now, I was a couple missing, and thanks to Ken Burney, he managed to find me the 2 that was missing, which was the MCC cap number 1. So it's quite nice. You see there you've got South Africa, Australia, MCC, which is the touring badge of England, and the England home badge there. So quite a nice set of county and international badges there. Now if you go further back, this is actually a facsimile set. I'm not quite sure what date they were, actually 1890 something. It's the Wills anyway, but it's about 1888 to 1895, something like that. Quite a nice set by Wills there. But these are a facsimile set, not facsimile, just a copy set. So if you get a real set of those, that's going to cost you a fair bit of money, I should think. But for a budget start, that's quite a good little selection there. And we'll carry on with the cards. This is a nice, I'm not sure I've shown these ones actually. It's a Vanity Fair set, 100 sets made. This one come from dear old Ken Daniels, who had a spare set and forwarded these to me when I had the museum. So you've got the Vanity Fair prints there that were published each month or week. And if you've got Dylan in a real Vanity Fair print, and that's the last one because there were very few of those made or printed because he was the last one they did. So some nice cards there from yesteryear. There we are. So we've got Jack Hobbs there, and on the back of these it tells you when they were published in the magazine. So it's quite an informative little selection of cards actually. Oversized from cricket cards, but nice set. So this is number 15 of 100 sets produced, which is quite nice. And then another one I've got in, which is quite a produced in quite a lot of numbers, was the Wills ones, 1938. Here we've got this was collected by Brian Statham. So we've got all sorts of all the cards here from 38 with there's Wally Hammond there. You go further into R.E.S. Wyatt and a bit further into the Australians here. We've got Fleetwood Smith there. So each one of these has got a signature with it. But of course, if you've got a signature actually on the cards, they might be worth quite a bit more. But it's nice to have all the signatures with those. So I'm quite pleased to have that album, which I say, I think was collected by Brian Statham. So there's another little set there with Bradman cards. What are we at? 38, 30 and 34 on there. The ones produced. I've got all of those sets. So somewhere along the line, unless these are copies, there's some sets missing of Don Bradman. But anyway, there we are. That's a nice little collection there. So they also came in album of cricketers. The cigarette companies, especially Players and Wills, they produced these where you could stick them in. I mean, there's quite a, oh shit, all over the place. Quite a nice little card, that nice presentation of all the 1938 players there. I mean, collectors don't normally like them all stuck in, but the information on the back of the card is all down there, so I don't really see what the problem is, but that's the way life is. But they're all stuck in, so that's quite nice. You can get all those for the aircraft and all sorts of other things. You can get these lovely little albums, and of course trawling around the junk shops and second-hand shops, you can get books like that, which is a nice cigarette card album. And in here I've got it's obviously the 28 ones there, and you can fill these up quite nicely. There's a photocopy there of I think this is 1926. I think these ones, real photographs, all in there, 1928 perhaps, which is nice, but they are copies. It's 19. There's Archie Jackson there, look. So these are stick in these ones, and you don't have to put them into an album, so they're quite a nice sort of thing to collect, really. A nice authentic 1920s album. There's a facsimile one here. There's a Bodyline series one, which is, I think it's this one here. Right, but these are 38s again, these ones here, so it's quite a nice album to put your cards in. There's a facsimile ones to start with up there of the Bodyline ones. I'm not quite sure who made those. Let's have a quick look. County Print Services, so that's those in the lovely cigarette album cover there. So anyway, if you're starting collecting, a couple of things that you could probably do, which is a great benefit to you, is the Cricket Memorabilia Society, which actually just updated their website, and you can go straight to one of these videos on there, and there's all sorts of other information on there. If you join up, you get one of these each quarter. This is the last quarter with the old Don Crossley on the front there. Great society to be in. Only £20 a year, so I hope you can see to join that. And then the other thing you can do with the Cricket Memorabilia people is the Wisden Book of Cricket Memorabilia, which is 1990, I think it's the first edition, 1990. Of course, you can get information on any sort of collecting in there, and there's cigarette cards in there as well, so that's another book to get hold of. Probably goes for about £10 to £15 if you need to get one. So onwards and upwards with that, so that's a good one to get hold of. So that's about it for this week, so I hope you've enjoyed that, and I will look forward to putting Peter Schofield's videos online. It's done by James Merchant, so look forward to that, possibly next week starting number 1. So there we go. Cheers, hope you enjoyed that. Up the almighty Reds. Cheers.